And a very good Friday morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Joe Benigno back with you again, the Oda Payne Podcast, Friday, April 25th, 2025. The Joe Benigno Oda Payne Podcast brought to you by the Hackensack Brewing Company, by Anita Discount Tire, and, of course, our good friends at Manscaped. You know, last night, and we got a lot to cover today, obviously the Knicks win Game 3 of the playoff series with the Pistons. Terrific game last night. Big night, big bounce-back games for Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges, and we'll get to that as they take a 2-1 lead in their series against the Pistons. We'll get to the red-hot New York Mets, who are just unconscious right now. Thank God for them. And we'll get to the disgrace that is the New York Rangers as they extend Chris Drury. You got to be kidding me. Anyway, let's start with the draft. You know, last night we saw again, and I understand Giant fans, it's been bad for a while for the Giants. I get it. They have not been good for a while. But you saw last night again why the Giants are so far superior of an organization opposed to the Jets. I mean, it's not even close, right? So the Giants need a franchise quarterback. They got the third pick in the draft. Everybody's talking, well, Cam Ward's going to go number one, which he did to the Titans. And are the Giants going to take Shadir Sanders at 3? So the number 3 pick comes along. For some reason, the Cleveland Browns trade the second pick in the draft to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they wind up with Travis Hunter, Jacksonville. The Browns wound up with the 5th pick in the draft. They took the tackle Graham from Michigan. I don't know. I never understand what the Cleveland Browns are doing because they don't need a quarterback, right? But whatever. That's why the Browns are just a cut maybe above the Jets as the worst franchise in professional sports today. With that said, we saw again last night why the Giants are such a superior organization under John Mara and Steve Tisch. We saw it again last night. So the Giants, with the 3rd pick in the draft, they take Abdul Carter, the outstanding pass rusher from Penn State. They take him with the 3rd pick in the draft. And then they trade back into the first round at the back end at number 25. I don't know. I forget who they traded with because I was out. At that point, I was watching the Knicks game, and I was disgusted with the draft after the Jets picked, and we'll get to all that. But they trade back into the first round with the 25th pick to take the quarterback Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss. I mean, that's a home run draft first round as far as I'm concerned by the Giants. And the Giants are going to sit this kid. He's going to play. Russell Wilson's going to be the starter. They got Russell Wilson. They got Jameis Winston. And they can afford the luxury of having this kid sit there and, learn under the veteran quarterbacks. And that's exactly what the Giants are going to do. Similar to what they did with Kurt Warner and Eli Manning when Eli Manning, was a rookie out of Ole Miss. And by the way, the Giants have had Jackson Dart, of course, out of Ole Miss. And the Giants have had success with Ole Miss quarterbacks. You go back to Charlie Connolly in the 50s. He was out of Ole Miss, Hall of Fame quarterback. And the same thing with Eli, who eventually will be a Hall of Famer. He should be now, but whatever. So they take Abdul Carter with the 3rd pick. They trade back into the first round to get Jackson Dart. Shadir Sanders does not get picked in the first round, so he's still out there, right? But this is what real big-time organizations doing. Like I said, I know it's been down, period, for the Giants. I get it. But this is why the Giants have been to 5 Super Bowls and won 4 in the same period of time that the Jets haven't been to one in, almost 60 years now. I mean, it's unbelievable. And the Jets do what the Jets do. With the 7th pick in the draft, they take this kid Membu out of Missouri, an offensive tackle, because they got an idea that they're going to have, it's going to be the Great Wall of Dallas on the offensive line for the Jets as they take Fassanu last year, and then all the different guys. Look at Elijah Tucker was a first-round pick, Tipman in the 2nd round as a center, and now they take this guy Membu. They have no skill position players at all outside of Garrett Wilson. Okay, the running backs, they do have that. They don't have another wide receiver. They don't have a tight end. They pass up the kid Tyler Warren from Penn State who goes 13th to the Colts, right? So what are they going to do? Going to run a wishbone? Is that what they're going to do? Going to run this triple option? Because they got a quarterback that can run. I mean, he can't necessarily throw the ball, but we know he can run. So are we going to run the wishbone? We're going to run the Wildcat? What's going to be our offensive schemes under, I don't even know the name of this offensive coordinator. What a disgrace. I mean, I am so disgusted with the Jets. I mean, come on. Now, the Jets can change the narrative if tonight, if Shadir Sanders is still sitting there with the 42nd pick in the second round, in overall second round pick, 10th pick, I guess it is in the second round. If they took Sanders, if he was still sitting there, I'd feel a lot better about it. But they're not doing that. What are they going to do? What are they going to take? They're going to take a guard with the second pick? What are they going to do? I am at the lowest point I've ever been as a fan of this franchise. I am so disgusted. I got to tell you, now usually I'll hang in there and watch most of the first round. After they took and I was watching the Knicks anyway. After they took Membu, I was done. Between commercial breaks in the Knicks game, I went back to see what was happening. I looked at the scroll on ESPN to see who picked who, right? That was about it. And it wasn't until I got up this morning that I found out that the Giants actually made that deal for Dart in the back end of the first round. I was done. After the Jets took Membu, I was done. I don't even give a damn anymore. I watched the Knicks game, which turned out to be a tremendous game. But I can't take it anymore with this franchise. I'm at the end of the road. I have no confidence in anything. The Jets, the Giants are doing what the Jets should have done, and that was keep Aaron Rodgers for another year, draft a quarterback. Obviously, they could have got Sanders at 7. Maybe they can still get him. I doubt they will. Draft a quarterback and let him develop and let him sit behind Rodgers. But now, why would the Jets do that? Now, we dump Rodgers, right? We dump him. I know he hasn't signed anyway yet. I don't care. He wanted to come back. They dump Rodgers, right? They dump Devontae Adams because the Jets can afford to just dump Hall of Famers because they're so great, right? They signed this young quarterback, Fields, who's never been any good. We know he can run. He's not a very good passer. He is young. He's only 26 years old. We get that. I guess you could say there's an upside. He played with Garrett Wilson at Ohio State. But so what? So the Giants are doing what the Jets should have done, and this is why the Jets never freaking win. And I look at this Darren Muhi. You see this guy Muhi, this GM? This guy's got all cocky. He's got that cocky, like he's accomplished something in his career. Show me where your Super Bowl rings are, Darren. All right, maybe I missed something. And he's all cocky. Oh yeah, we loved it. Come on. I can't take it anymore. If they would have took a defensive player, I would have felt better. If they would have took some linebacker, one of these linebackers from Georgia or whatever, that nose tackle from Ole Miss, I would have felt better. I don't want another offensive lineman. I'm sick of how many freaking offensive linemen have they taken in the first round? Mekhi Becton, who, by the way, now has a Super Bowl ring with the Eagles as he's playing guard. Oh, how great did that work out, right? Of course. Vera Tucker, Fassanu, who, looked good, and then he got hurt. Remember, he got hurt toward the end of the year. Let's hope he's okay coming back. So the Jets have the 7 blocks of granite now on the offensive line, right? We'll see how it freaking works out. They're gonna be ground and pound to personify. Like I said, they're gonna run a wishbone because they got no passing game. They got one wide receiver, Garrett Wilson. Garrett, you were upset last year. You didn't get the ball when you caught over 100 passes, right? Oh, Rodgers wasn't throwing me the ball. I was upset. Caught 100 and something passes. Well, this year, with your buddy, your quarterback now, your old teammate from Ohio State, and when you catch 50 passes, are you going to be complaining because they don't throw the goddamn ball? What a joke. I am so goddamn disgusted with the Jets. How much can you take? This is the low of the lows. This is worse than the 70s where they are now. And I have no – look, I was okay with taking Glenn even though he had no head coaching experience only because he was a really he was a great, terrific Jet. And I've said a million times, if he's anywhere near the coach that he was a player, we got something. But again, after they dumped Rodgers, I was out. I checked out. I'm disgusted. Now, maybe they can shock me in the second round and take Sanders if he's there. I don't know what they're going to do in the second round. Going to take another offensive going to take another guard, maybe an offensive, like I said, an offensive lineman again? What are we taking? A safety? What are we going to take in the second round? Maybe we'll take a kicker in the second round. What a freaking disgrace. I don't know how I can take it anymore rooting for this team. I'm so goddamn disgusted. Thank God for the Mets. Thank God for the Knicks, right? The Rangers are a joke, and we'll get to that. I can't believe Dolan gave it an extension to this idiot Drury. You know, everybody else goes, but Drury stays because he's done such a magnificent freaking job after he destroyed the team before the year even started this year. Please. I'm just beyond. The disgust level the disgust meter is off the charts when it comes to the New York Jets. Darren Moohey, Aaron Glenn. Oh my God, what a joke. You know Dart's going to be good for the Giants. Write it down. And I'm going to tell you this too. Shadir Sanders now has dropped out of the first round. The disrespect level is through the roof with this kid. And remember who his father is, Dion. A lot of pretty good bloodlines there. And whoever takes this guy, and we've seen this before. How many times have we seen it? They kept showing it last night during the draft. Aaron Rodgers dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping when he thought he was going to be like the first or second pick in the draft. And he winds up going 24 to the Packers. How'd that work out? Pretty good for Green Bay, didn't it? Right? Or the Dolphins with Dan Marino, going all the way back to 83 when most of the people listening now weren't born, right? And all the quarterbacks taken before him. Ken O'Brien and Tony Eason taken before Dan Marino. How'd that work out for the Dolphins? Pretty damn good. Lamar Jackson dropping to the end of the first round. How'd that work out for the Ravens? Whoever takes this Shadir Sanders, you watch how this kid, don't be shocked if he turns out to be better than Cam Ward and better than Jackson Dart. Don't be shocked. Because now you've disrespected the kid. Now he's got a major chip on his shoulder. All the more reason why if I'm the Jets, I would take this guy. But you know they're not going to do it because they're the Jets. Because they're the most inept franchise this side of the Cleveland Browns in professional sports history. Okay? Professional sports history. The owner sucks. The organization sucks. They suck. Okay? Suck. Now, maybe this guy Membo is going to turn out to be the next Anthony Munoz. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, maybe he's going to be the next Zach Martin, right? I don't know. Could be. Next Tyron Smith. Maybe he's going to turn out to be that. But maybe not. And we'll see how good this team is. Like I said, I don't know who's catching passes outside of Garrett Wilson this year. Got nobody on the other side. Got no tight end. Are they going to address that? What are they going to do? How's that going to work out? The defense isn't that good either. But let's take another offensive tackle because we're going to emulate what the Detroit Lions did. And as far as I'm concerned, I know the Lions have come back, right? But they haven't won anything either. They blew the NFC Championship game a couple of years ago. They got unceremoniously knocked out in their first playoff game in the divisional round by the Washington. They should be the Redskins, as we know, right? The Commanders. So they haven't done diddly shit either. The freaking Lions. But we're going to emulate them, right, Aaron? Because that's where you came from. So we'll see how this offensive line turns out. Don't think that this is going to be the second coming of the Hogs, okay? Don't think that. Because you know why? Because it's the New York Jets. And the bad karma just continues to circle. Continues to freaking circle. All right, we'll get to the Knicks in a second. Let's get to our sponsors here. The Hackensack Brewing Company will let you know when the next live podcast will be sometime in the middle of July. Now, if you need work done on your car, you know where you got to go. You got to go to Anita Discount Tire. You got to see my son Johnny, his boss Harry. You got to see Rob, one of the top mechanics there is. They do everything for your car. You get tires, you get work done on your car, you get your car inspected, everything. Go check them out. Beautiful Rivervale, New Jersey. We played golf there yesterday. How great is a Rivervale golf course? I actually got a hole-out birdie yesterday on the hole where I got my first ever hole-in-one. So I got a lot of good karma there. That's the 14th hole at Rivervale. Love it. Great day. Myself, Terry, my buddy Tommy Keenan, his friend Chris. It was a stellar day yesterday at Rivervale. But go see Johnny. Go see Harry. Everybody over at Anita Discount Tire. Again, beautiful Rivervale, New Jersey, Westwood Avenue. Tell them Benigno sent you. And last, certainly not least, our very good friends over at Manscaped who are doing a great thing this month. April is National Testicular Cancer Awareness Month. God, that's something that every man has to be concerned about. And I want to take a second to talk about men's health issues and how important they are to me, or really any man, anybody. And right now, Manscaped is putting action behind their words and donating $50,000 to the Testicular Cancer Society to help save lives and promote routine self-checks. Now, they've also just dropped a special edition bundle to help support this amazing cause, the TCS Ball Hero Bundle. It includes my favorite Manscaped piece, the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, which takes care of you down below, gives you that illusion of extra inches. You got to love it. They got the TCS Special Edition and Special Edition TCS Boxers 2.0. I tell you all the time about how great the underwear is from Manscaped. I wear them to play golf. It's great. Keeps your balls in place where you want them and all of that. Got to love every second of that. Can't say enough about that. And look, join the over 12 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and use the code PAIN, P-A-I-N. I got a lot of that this morning with the Jets for 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. It is the freaking best. Check it out. Like I said, and oh, by the way, don't forget the Manscaped conditioner, shampoo and conditioner, which I use all the time, which makes me smell good. I don't necessarily look good, but it makes me smell good. You know, my wife actually wants to touch me for reasons known only to her. But nevertheless, check out. We love you at Manscaped. All right, Benigno, the Yoda Pain podcast. Game 3 last night in Detroit. Knicks with a 118-116 victory over the Pistons. What a tremendous game this was. Huge bounce-back nights for Karl Anthony Towns. 31 points for him. He was aggressive early on, was hitting threes, was taking it to the basket. Fabulous game for him. I mentioned Mikal Bridges had a big bounce-back game. 20 points, filled up the stat sheet. What was it, 7 rebounds? I think he had 3 or 4 assists. He was tremendous. In fact, it was the first time since 1972, and I believe it was game 1 of the NBA Finals that year when the Knicks beat the Lakers 114-92 and blew them out. By the way, that's the only game they wound up winning in that Finals. The Lakers won the next 4 and won the championship. It's the first time, and I believe since that first game in 1972 Finals, that 4 different Knicks had 20 points or more. Think about that. Since 1972, 4 Knicks, 20 points or more in a playoff game. And unbelievable. Brunson had 30 as well. He had a big game, was getting to the foul line. One of the signature moments of the game last night, Karl Anthony Towns blocking a shot on one end. I forget which Piston it was. And the ball winding up to Brunson. Towns getting the ball, getting the outlet out to Brunson, who takes it all the way down for a layup. Brunson had a terrific game again, 30 points for him. Big on the free throw line last night. I think the Knicks were 19 of 20 from the foul line last night, something like that. Did a great job there. But just a great performance all the way around. Josh Hart, the only Knicks starter without 20, still had 11 rebounds and 9 assists in the game as well. So he played a terrific all-around game. I got a couple big baskets from Cam Payne in this game. Got a big 3 in the fourth quarter from McBride as well. Mitchell Robinson contributing. Terrific win. And every time the Knicks got out to an early lead, right away, they were up by 9 early in the game, and the Pistons just kept coming back. Tim Hardaway Jr. hitting threes all over the place. Dennis Schroeder, Cam Cunningham doing their thing and kept coming back. And every time that it looked like the Pistons were going to come all the way back, and they did take a little bit of a lead late in the second quarter, but every time it looked like the Pistons were going to come all the way back, the Knicks took control of the game again and wound up hanging on at the end to win the game by 2 points. And it was also, we mentioned, the first time since 1972 that 4 different Knicks scored 20 points or more in a playoff game. It's also the first time since the 1999 Finals against the San Antonio Spurs that 2 Knicks had 30 points or more in a playoff game, with Towns going for 31 and Brunson going for 30. And you got to go back to Sprewell and Allen Houston in the 1999 Finals against San Antonio. I believe that might have been Game 5 of that series, the final game of that series. And as we know, the Knicks lost that series. But that's the last time 2 different Knicks 30 points or more in a playoff game. 1999, 26 years ago. So a couple milestone moments for the Knicks last night, and they hold on to beat the Pistons. And I tell you, the Pistons, man, they are a scrappy, tough team. The atmosphere last night in Detroit was off the charts. A lot of the old Pistons there, Ben Wallace, Rip Hamilton, Rick Mahorn, a lot of old Pistons there last night. It was a great atmosphere, and the Knicks found a way to hold on and win it. So they take a 2-1 lead now in the best of 7. Game 4 coming up Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock in Detroit. The Knicks have now wrestled the home court advantage again back from Detroit. So you feel pretty good right now about where the Knicks are. They're on a collision course to play the Boston Celtics in round 2. Boston right now up 2-0 on Orlando. Of course, Jason Tatum banged up with that wrist injury. They didn't need him the other night. They still beat Orlando in game 2. So they probably won't need him to win this series. So we'll see what happens. But, look, let's see if the Knicks can really take a stranglehold on the series in game 4. I got a feeling we're going to be back 2-2. The way things have gone in this series, don't be shocked if we're back 2-2 for game 5 at the Garden. But I fully expect the Knicks to win the series, even if it goes 7. But a good game 3 last night. And like I said, great bounce-back performances from Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges. And the Knicks now lead the best of 7, 2-1 over the Pistons. Again, game 4, 1 o'clock in Detroit on Sunday. Terrible game time, but what's new with the NBA? Now, the New York Mets, I'm just delirious where they are right now. 18-7, best record in baseball. They're playing unconscious baseball. They've won 7 straight games. They swept the homestand, taking 4 from the Cardinals, 3 from the Phillies. They got a 5-game lead now in the NL East. You got to feel good about what they're doing. And they're doing it without Soto doing really anything. I mean, let's tell it like it is. Through the first 25 games of the year, Juan Soto has not done much. Now, he did make a nice play on Wednesday afternoon, throwing a guy out at the plate, big play in the game. Sanger, the catcher, made a nice play too, and we're probably not going to see him because today, at least what we've been told, we're going to see the return of Jeff McNeil and Francisco Alvarez to the Mets. So what I'm thinking, everybody's talked about Beatty and Acuna, what's going to happen there. Now, Beatty really helped himself when he hit that 2-run bomb on Wednesday off Zach Wheeler. That was really all the Mets got against Zach Wheeler in that game, and they outlasted him and eventually won it in the 10th inning with the big base hit by Marte. But I guess the move is going to be to keep both of them. Azokar and Sanger will go down to the minor leagues, and McNeil and Alvarez will take their spots. And I guess Acuna and Beatty will both stay up here, which they probably should. So it's a good problem to have. As Beatty's finally starting to hit, and I love Acuna. I mean, to me, he's got to stay here. If it was up to me, Acuna's playing second base every day. I'd play McNeil in the outfield. I'd move Nimmo to center. Maybe Acuna's going to play center. There's been talking about Acuna playing center field, and I'm all good for that too. But right now, the Mets just hitting on all cylinders. It's just wonderful. The starting pitching's been tremendous. The bullpen, forget it. I mean, right now, the Mets got like 6 or 7 guys out of the bullpen that you have confidence in every one of them. Whether it's Max Kranick, who's been great. How good was he in helping them win that game the other day, getting out of that jam in the 10th inning? Whether it's Kranick, whether it's Stanek, whether it's Barbizon, Brazabon, I call him Barbizon, you know who he is. Go right down every one of these guys, right? Minter, I mean, I'm forgetting people, but I mean, they're young. They got all these guys out of the bullpen. Buto, right? They got Nunez eventually coming back. You got Diaz, of course, even though he got hurt the other day. I think, according to him, he'll probably be okay for tonight. But I mean, you got to be, it's unbelievable. And this pitching lab, as much as I don't love David Stearns, okay, the guy can certainly identify pitching. And the job that him and Jeremy Hefner have done with this, we call it the pitching lab, whatever the hell you want to call it, has just been off the charts. I mean, they've made starting pitchers out of David Peterson and Tyler McGill. Think about it. This guy, Griffin Canning, who stunk with the Angels, had like a 6 ERA. He's been tremendous for the Mets. They're not going really deep in games. But they're giving you the 5 innings, 5+, maybe 6. And the bullpen's just been off the charts. Sanger's been great. He'll pitch tonight. They open up a 3-game series against the Nationals in Washington tonight. Hopefully they can keep the ball rolling. Sanger will be pitching tonight. Clay Holmes, who, was not a reclamation project, but a guy who was a closer with the Yankees, and now he's pitching. He's been terrific as a starter for the Mets. So it's just unbelievable. If you're a Met fan, you sit there and you just smile. because they are just playing unfreaking conscious baseball. And look, there's 137 games left to play, but just sit back. All we can do right now, Met fans, is sit back, enjoy the summer, enjoy our baseball team, and then when we get to the real games in October, let's win the division. We got a 5-game lead in the division. Let's win the division. Stay out of that first round playoff nonsense. Okay, let's avoid that 2 out of 3 crapshoot, and let's go from there. But let's enjoy the ride because it looks like it's going to be a hell of a regular season with the New York Mets. No doubt about it. And let me just say this too: I love Carlos Mendoza, and I love your Uncle Stevie. I love him. I wish he owned the Jets. And as we all say, with the just unbelievable start for Pete Alonso, Uncle Stevie, get that pen ready to write that check for Petey. Okay, write that check for the polar bear, as he was totally disrespected in free agency, not just by the Mets but by everybody. And he's sticking it to everybody now. And Uncle Stevie, get that checkbook ready for Pete. All right. Before we go, I have to just wrap up with the absolute insanity that Jim Dolan gave a multi-year extension to this absolute stiff Chris Drury, the general manager of the Rangers. How does this goddamn guy skate? Tell me how he skates. He destroys the team before the year starts. Oh, I'm trading everybody. He dumps Barkley, Goodrow. They weren't happy about it. He sends this memo that he wants to trade Trouba. He wants to trade Kreider. He wants to trade everybody. If Messier was there, he'd be going to trade him too, which they eventually did. The stupid ass, or I think they let him go as a free agent. The stupid ass Rangers. Another model franchise that's won 1 cup in 84 freaking years. Hasn't won one in 31 now. Unbelievable. How does this guy back? He gets to pick another coach. The Rangers are going to have their 3rd coach in 5 years. The Rangers, we talk about the Jet dysfunction. How about this? How about the Ranger dysfunction? And you go through coaches like your underwear. Tortorella, Vigneault, Quinn, Gallant, Laviolette. Who's the next guy? Who's next? Maybe Drury should coach the team. Maybe, he's so goddamn smart, right? Maybe Drury should step down from being the GM and maybe he should coach the team. He's so goddamn great. What is Jim Dolan? What the hell is the love affair with this guy? Does he have pictures of you in compromising positions? I mean, what? What is it? I can't. Unbelievable. Like I said, thank God for the Mets. Thank God for the Knicks. Thank God that the weather's changed and we're playing golf again. Thank God for all these things. Thank God for my wife, because the New York Jets are just such a goddamn disgrace. The Jets are a disgrace. The Rangers are a disgrace. The Mets and the Knicks are on one level. The Mets are actually on a bigger level than the Knicks are, because the Knicks are going to go out. There's no way to beat the Celtics in the second round, but we'll worry about that when we get there. And then you look at the state of the Jets and the state of the Rangers. What a disgrace. Just think, the Rangers and the Jets, between them, think about this, have won 2 championships. If you combine the time, right? The Rangers have won 1 in 84 years. The Jets have won 1 in 50. It's going on 57 years. So basically, if you combine that, okay, I'm going to try to get it right here. Let's see. 100. I'm thinking here. So in the last 141 years, if you combine the 2 franchises, right, they've won 2 championships, the Rangers and the Jets. Think about that. 2. The Rangers have won 1 cup in 84 years. They haven't won in 31. The Jets have won 1 Super Bowl in 57 years, and they haven't won in 57 years. Nor have they even been to one since then. But they know what they're doing there in Florham Park. They know what they're doing. Take another tackle. Man, I'm telling you, second round, maybe we should draft a center to back up Tipman. Maybe that's what we need to do. Right? I mean, why not? Maybe we should draft a running back, because we got a lot of them, so let's get another one. But don't take a quarterback because we got Justin Fields. We're good, right? We're good. We got Justin Fields. We're going to run the wishbone. We're going to run the triple option. We're going to run the wildcat, right? We're going to run the single. Maybe we're going to run the single wing. Maybe we're not. Come on. So those are the options for your offense if you're a Jet fan: wishbone, wildcat, single wing. Take your pick. Maybe we're going to run all three of them. Unbelievable. Forward pass be damned. Garrett Wilson, you were complaining last year you only caught 101 passes. Just think about how much you're going to complain this year when nobody's throwing you the freaking ball. Unbelievable. Everybody have a enjoy your weekend. Let's go Mets. Open up that series tonight with Washington. Sang on the mound. Let's keep the ball rolling. Knicks on Sunday, game 4 up 2-1. Round 2 of the draft today. We'll see how the Jets F it up again. And congratulations to the Giants and their fans for what I thought was a marvelous first round. All the love to everybody. God bless America. Check me out tomorrow on The Fan. I'll be on from 10 to 12:30 right before Yankee baseball.